Okay, good morning, Miss Vira,
Yes,
and
good
also
morning.
Mr. Uh,
Fanson.
huh?
Mr.
Mr.
Fanson.
Fanson,
Fanson, Pak.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Fanson, yeah. We are waiting for Mr. Fanson, but we can continue our session. Uh, and let me introduce myself. My name is Dana Persada. Uh, my job is consultant and trainer in the area of project management. Today, we are going to have a special half a day or 1 day session. The topic is related to project procurement management. Yeah, I'm also happy to know you all and to have the opportunity to share some of the concepts in the area of project management. Our session will be divided into maybe three or four parts. Yeah, we will have a break around 10 o'clock, and we will have another break uh, at around 11:45, and then we'll continue around 1:15, yeah, 1:15, and hopefully we can finish by 3 o'clock this evening. And please feel free to ask any questions anytime or to discuss anything, uh, because we don't have special session for Q&A. And if there is something maybe I cannot answer, I will postpone my answer and maybe until the end of the training, and I will try to send the answer to you later. So we will have a continuous communication. Don't worry. Uh, let me maybe I want to also hear from Miss Vira and Miss Fanson later. What is actually the problem, the expectation, and the level of knowledge and the activities in your day-to-day work. Yeah, yeah, please.
Yeah. Okay. Pak Dana. So a brief introduction to our scope. Yeah. In a day-to-day, daily things we do. So we are from supply chain management, and then we are mainly specifically uh, focusing on the construction aspect. Yeah, so we do not really focus on the material. As you know, PT Nico Mas Gemilang is a manufacturer in production of shoes of Nike, Adidas, and so on. But for our scope, mainly is not to the material part or material aspect. So we focus more to the construction. Yeah, so from this training, for me, myself, personally, I expect to get a more deep understanding, yeah, on the process of project procurement, and perhaps got many details and knowledge from you, from your experience and understanding, like that,
Yeah,
Padana.
yeah, okay, thank you.
Maybe Mr. Fenson can
Yeah,
also more
yeah,
say something.
okay, thank you, Ms. Vira. Maybe Mr. Benson, nice to meet you. Uh, I hope you can join, but if you are still busy, maybe uh, we will hear from you later. Okay, so uh,
Okay. So yeah, he cannot use the audio because he's using browser. Yeah. So
Later, yeah, maybe later.
yeah.
Okay, no
Sorry ya Pak
problem.
Dana.
If you have any questions, maybe you can also use the chat, yeah,
Chat ya. Iya.
chat box, yeah, and type in your message. Don't worry, I will try to monitor the incoming message. Okay, let me share some of the materials for today. Yeah, so this material I will also share later, yeah. Maybe we need some revision or some modification. Then after that, I will send the final version to you. And the title of this training is Project Procurement Management. So we are focusing on procurement, especially in the project environment. Yeah. And this is actually related to my background, because my background is project management. Yeah, so we cover project methodology, project scope, project schedule, project budgeting, and also procurement is part of project management. Yeah. So to some extent, I have some insights, some experience in the area of project management, and also there were some projects that had procurement activities. Yeah. Again, feel free to raise any questions or any concern, or if you want to discuss something, yeah, you can also discuss, because our time is very limited actually. Okay, so our project procurement management, yeah, will discuss about the processes necessary to purchase products or services from outside the project team. Yeah. So this is like a purchasing process, but procurement is more strategic, and also you have to understand the context of the items and the products or services to be procured by your project team. This will include the management, yeah, the procurement management, and also project management in a broader sense. Of course, procurement administration, and also controlling the procurement processes. Yeah, this also will include making sure that the agreements, contracts, purchase orders, MOUs, or maybe SLA or service level agreement are also prepared. Yeah. And by the time the project is being executed, being implemented, then all those documents are already approved on internally, and also we can discuss with the third parties or contractors, vendors, and also subcontractors, yeah, in order to achieve the target schedule, yeah, and also the target resource allocation as already planned by hopefully by the project team, especially project manager in this case. So regarding project procurement management, we will refer to PMBOK, yeah, Project Management Body of Knowledge, published by Project Management Institute in the USA. Maybe you already know about this. This is a popular reference worldwide, yeah, and can be a starting point. Yeah, maybe it's not as complete as you may have expected, but as a starting point, PMBOK is a good reference. PMBOK itself is already updated to 7th edition, but basically the update is minor and only small revision related to procurement and to other aspects of project management. Yeah. So in general, previous version of PMBOK is, in my opinion, more practical for you practitioners, yeah, for our day-to-day practice in the office, yeah, or in the project. Yeah, PMBOK 7 is more about principles and about additional concepts. Yeah, for example, in relation to change management or with leadership, with communication. But the basic project management process, we can refer to any PMBOK, even third version, the older version, fourth edition, fifth edition, and sixth edition. Yeah, they are also have the same concept. What is the role of project management, and what is the role of project manager in a procurement process? Yeah, so basically, in general, project manager is the authority on project risk, project scope, project schedule, project resource, project stakeholders. He or she is also in charge of the communication, coordination with the stakeholders, with all the relevant parties, including management, senior management, contractors, team members. Yeah. Maybe you have also a consultant or maybe other supporting managers in the office or outside the organization. Sometimes you need to ask for permit from local government, maybe. You need to collaborate or you have to ask for additional power from PLN, yeah, and also some other permit that you need. You may also, the project manager may also have to uh, communicate and engage with the local communities, yeah, in order for the project to be successful. And regarding procurement, yeah, a project manager can have a separate contracting office. Maybe in your case, you have a supply chain management. It's a separate unit from project team. And also, if you think it's necessary, maybe your project is in a remote area or far from office, or maybe it's too big to handle, then you can ask a special contracting officer or a team of procurement team to work directly, yeah, to work directly under the project manager. But normally you have the same, at least the same level of authority, and you have separate division, yeah. For example, construction division or a vendor company or contractor company and procurement department, yeah, operational department, engineering department. You have separate authority, separate KPI, separate team. Yeah. That means you have to work together. Yeah, work together You have to have the same perception regarding the objective of the project, the schedule, the target, risk of the project, and some other concern. So this thing is maybe for you to choose whether to centralize the procurement in your office. And this is the normal practice. And some big project or remote project, you may have a special staff that is dedicated, to the project. So there is no silos, there is no bureaucracy, there is no procedures between procurement department or supply chain with the project manager and project team. And also sometimes because of the importance of coordination in the projects, you have to communicate, you have to establish good relationship with other team, with other stakeholders. Maybe you will need a RACI matrix, or normally we can establish a RACI matrix, which shows who are responsible for a particular task, and then who is accountable. Accountable is higher than responsible. You can delegate some tasks, but accountability is still yours. Responsible can mean technically and operationally responsible, but accountability is more to do with legal responsibility and broader responsibility. So with RACI matrix, you can start coordination with clearer separation of duties, separation of responsibilities, and also you will remember that some stakeholders should be consulted. Then you put C in the column. That means, for example, vendor management, in this case, supply chain team should be consulted, for example, regarding standard terms and conditions for contract. This is just an example. Regarding negotiation, regarding contract negotiation, you should consult with the vendor or supply chain team, with the executive sponsor, with legal department, for example. And when the contract is being executed, there are some stakeholders that should be informed, on a regular basis. You send the progress report, you send any information required by them, through email, or through WhatsApp group. Then you put I in the column. You may also put two codes, two letters, I and C, or R and A, and so on and so on. So
sorry, Mr. Dana.
Yeah.
I think my connection was disconnected when you were talking about R and A. Could you repeat again? R and A stands for what?
This is a RACI matrix. RACI matrix is a good tool for coordination and to generate understanding among stakeholders, among your project stakeholders, external or internally. Then you may also, for example, put some codes. R means responsible. So for example, in this case, a business owner is responsible to identify standard terms and conditions for contract. So you put the code R, and then this business owner also is accountable, accountable for example, to negotiate the contract, and also responsible for the contract. So C means you to be consulted, or you should consult those with C, yeah, in this table. Yeah, those people with C letter in the column. That means you are proposed, or you are encouraged to consult with them. Yeah. This is designed by project manager actually in the planning stage, because he or she realize that coordination might be a problem, yeah, later, especially if your project is quite big, or if your company is quite big, so many activities, so many departments, yeah, so many priorities, yeah, so many agendas, yeah, on daily basis. So this is a good tool for you to start working. Yeah, so C stands for consult, and I, in this case, stand for inform. Yeah, so for example, vendor management, let's say supply chain management is supply chain division is in charge of vendor management. That means you have to be informed if the contract is being executed. Yeah, you have to receive a regular report, regular update regarding contract execution. Because you are entitled I in this case. I code, yeah, I letter in this case. But you are also in charge, for example, in the contract management system. Yeah, you are the one who keep the archive. You supply chain team will keep the records, the version control, yeah, or all the documents related to contract, for example, related to purchase orders, related to delivery report, for example. Yeah, PM normally project manager, they don't have authority, and they don't have also team or special staff to handle all the administrative matters regarding procurement. That's why R&A, responsible and accountable, uh, is attached to procurement team, yeah, or vendor management team, or supply chain team in this case. Yeah, is that clear, Bu Fira? Yes.
Yes, yes, it's clear,
Yeah.
clear already, Padana. Thank you.
Yeah. So don't hesitate to raise questions. Yeah. And if there is problem, also you remind me.
Yeah, okay, sure. Thank you.
Again, the reference of this training is PMBOK, yeah, PMBOK. So you can have your own version of PMBOK. Maybe you can download from PMI, yeah, website, or you can find it anywhere else. Recently, PMBOK also published Process Group, a practice guide, yeah, which consists of the 5 process groups, yeah. And also PMBOK itself covers 10 knowledge area, yeah, including project procurement management. Yeah, but in other words, in order to have a better insight regarding project management, or regarding project procurement management, someone should be aware that everything is related one another. Yeah, so we cannot separately see only procurement. We cannot only focus on the scope, or we cannot only focus on say vendor management in this case. Yeah, so it's related one another, because when we support the project, then the main objective is the project to be successful. Yeah, not only some department focus on their own priority, their own KPI, but the other department suffers or are not happy with their own performance. Or so in general, the project is at stake. Yeah, the project is quite risky because there is problem somewhere in the company departments, including procurement, maybe human resource, maybe finance, maybe engineering, maybe the user department also, or maybe the community problem, the vendors, contractors outside the company also, maybe some local contractors also in Indonesia. If your project is located in maybe, for example, in Sulawesi or in Sumatra, that means your contractor ideally is based in that area also, yeah. So you cannot choose Jakarta. Ideally, you'd better choose local contractor. Otherwise, you will have some concern from external stakeholders later on, yeah. Other than PMBOK, you can also use other standards. Yeah, we don't limit ourselves with PMBOK, but in this case, we better focus on one single guide first, one single reference first, but also along the way later on you can use other standards, yeah, such as those published by other organization, yeah. Or maybe you also have your own standard. Yeah, that doesn't matter because more or less they are the same, yeah. So PMBOK have this kind of matrix, yeah. This matrix consists of 5 columns from initiating phase, initiating process group, we call it process group, and then planning process group, executing process group, monitoring, controlling, and closing process group. Yeah. So in general, this is the responsibility of project manager, yeah, to oversee all these 5 process groups, yeah, in general. But his or her team or the project stakeholders may be in charge of some part of the process or knowledge areas, or activities in this matrix. This is to give you an idea of the how PMBOK look at the project from this matrix. We have 2 slides here regarding the matrix. So there are 10 knowledge area, yeah. Project integration, project scope, project schedule, project cost, and then project quality, project resource, project communication, project risk, and project procurement, and also project stakeholder management, yeah. So there are 10 knowledge area, yeah, and 5 process group, and inside the matrix there are around 49 process that the project manager, project team, including procurement, should be aware of, including the most important part, maybe in the initiating stage, is project charter. Yeah, you have to issue, you have to develop, you have to prepare project charter. Do you already have a project charter, Bu Fira, and the company?
Project charter, as in each project, or how, Mr. Tanya?
In the each project should have a project charter.
So it's like a timeline.
It's a summary of the project objective, project start and finish, who is the project manager, and some other summary information, ya kan?
Oh, that one, yeah, that one usually is prepared also by engineering team, ya, Pak Dan.
Yeah. So anyway, this project charter should be signed, should be issued by higher level, yeah, in theory, higher level of the project. Maybe ideally the board of director, maybe, or if you have uh, other supervisory team, yeah, in the project, because a project will comprise or will consist of many team from other part of the organization, yeah, not only engineering, not only construction, not only finance, not only supply chain, yeah. So this will ideally, yeah, I'm not saying we must have this, but ideally, if we have a project charter prepared by higher authority, then we can, including procurement and supply chain, can understand immediately when the project will start, when the project will finish, what are the objective, and who is the project manager. Yeah, this is also important. Who is the formal project manager internally? Who will be in charge of the project? Yeah, that is mentioned in project charter. So in the initiating, ideally you have this, and also you start identifying stakeholders. Yeah, this is done by project manager. Yeah, project charter, and who are the stakeholders, including those in supply chain, maybe some potential contractors, some potential suppliers, some potential solution providers are also identified in the initiating phase. Yeah, otherwise you will be you will run out of time. Yeah? So initiating focus on at least this process, at least, yeah, internally. Yeah, you may skip this. You may not. I mean, you may ignore this process, but maybe during planning you will have some questions which are not answered. Yeah, which are not clear. Yeah, when you do planning, you're not clear who is the project manager actually. So as a supply chain team, as a procurement team, who is to be consulted? Who is your counterpart in the project? Yeah, who is to be informed? Yeah, who is to be invited? Yeah. Uh, so it's not clear. Maybe by default you will discuss with your manager, with your immediate supervisor. But if the project charter exists, then you can just refer to the project charter without any doubt. Yeah? You can see in the project charter the name of the PM, the name of the team, and the objective of the project. Yeah, maybe some companies also put the budget. Yeah, the budget, the overall project budget. Yeah. Regarding the example of project charter, there are so many in Google. Yeah, you can just Google the sample of project charter. This is a short document, maybe 1 or 2 pages. And then after that, in the planning stage, project manager will prepare the scope of the project. Maybe engineering will prepare the construction, the physical scope of the project. Some other people will help in the preparing non-technical scope, for example, permit, or they call it, I think, like IMB, ya, IMB, ya, izin mendirikan bangunan, or maybe you need more power from PLN, you need land clearance, ya kan, and you need some maybe health and safety regulation being inspected by maybe local government or something like that. Yeah. So that is reflected in the collect requirements. What are the technical requirements to prepare a construction project? maybe from civil work, mechanical, electrical, piping, and so on and so forth. But there are also non-technical, yeah. And procurement or supply chain may also help in the everything in a non-technical recruitment can be also be supported by procurement, but mostly, of course, technical requirements that are expected to be supported by supply chain or procurement. So in general, you need to ask to your PM, to your project manager, or to your PM engineer, to your project engineer, can I see the WBS of the project? Yeah. So you deserve to have this in order for you to understand the whole picture of the project. Yeah. Yeah. The focus is should be like that in the project environment. So you can explain later to your potential contractors or to your potential vendors, or when you invite the potential contractors or vendors, you can explain briefly what are the objectives of the project, when it is started, when it is expected to finish. So project charter and WBS in the team member, the planning controlling in the team member, the planning. Yeah, okay. Let me answer a question from Mr. Fanson. Yeah. In the team member, the planning and controlling member will be the same. Yeah. So ideally, they can be part. Yeah, they can be part of the planning, and also team member can be part of planning and controlling. Yeah, but the company, but the PM is in charge. The project manager is the one who is accountable, yeah, who is accountable with overall project performance. Also, you can have, and I'm typing also, so I will send the text through group chat. Yeah. Also, you can set up special committee to control the project. Like PMO, maybe you know PMO, Project Management Office. Or in Indonesia, there is a practice where you can hire MK. Ya. MK is Management Konstruksi. If it's for construction project. So ideally, separate people, separate people do the control, and the contractor or project team will do the execution. So MK or management konstruksi nowadays if evolve into PMO, PMO, but maybe in a construction company they are still familiar with the term MK, management konstruksi. So they work on behalf of owner lah. They work on behalf of project owner to supervise the contractor and to
Pak Dana.
yeah,
Is MK or management construction the same as consultant who supervise
Yeah.
the project as the
Yeah.
project is executing?
Yeah. MK is like management or construction management, yeah. Construction management or consultant who is authorized to control, to supervise, and to report to the project owner, yeah, to control the contractor, but also to report to the project owner, yeah, and to have to conduct maybe inspection and audit to the contractor, yeah. Yeah, so it's can be treated like consultant, but with more authority, yeah, to control, to impose a standard template, yeah. For example, whether the WBS, WBS, yeah, work breakdown structure, uh, the MK or PMO will ask the contractor to prepare the WBS, yeah, and then the WBS will be reported to the project owner, something like that. Also, the schedule, yeah, the project schedule also will be assisted, yeah, will be analyzed, yeah, by MK or PMO. So normally this will help the project owner. In this case, PT Nikomas Gemilang is the owner of the factory, and you will hire a contractor, uh, and then in the middle, because internal staff is busy with other thing, you may hire separate, yeah, but you have to be careful when hiring third party, yeah, because if there might be a conflict of interest, yeah, so you have to still be accountable, yeah, you cannot delegate, yeah, you cannot just let them work without your supervision. Yeah, so then is that clear, Pak Vincent and Bu Fira?
Oh, my side it's clear.
Okay. Yeah, so in the WBS, you will see which part of project activities that will be that will need procurement support, yeah, that will need supply chain support, yeah, whether it's the in the level, I mean in the project level or in the work package level, yeah, or in the item level, activity level, yeah. There are so many things in the construction. Maybe you will also delegate everything to the contractor, but some part will be supplied by your own network. For example, in some company, maybe the elevator will be supplied by your network, I mean by your partners, by your own business partners, and also maybe some other special equipment in the shoe company. There are special equipment that contractors may not have knowledge in this area, yeah. So this special equipment will be supplied by by your own team. So that means supply chain will concern more not only I mean will be concerned not only in one procurement process, but maybe there are many procurement, yeah, or supply chain process. And then also you have to be involved in the validation and controlling the scope. Yeah. PM should consult, especially if it's related to the vendors that you are managing, the contractors that you are managing, the third parties. Then you and PM and third parties should work together when the delivery is being done, when the scope is almost finished. So you have to be invited, you have to be informed that the scope validation meeting, scope control process is also part of your responsibility. And also regarding schedule, of course, you have to know the schedule. And inside the schedule, there are early start date, latest start date that you must know. Yeah? You should ask your PIM, your project manager, when is the latest start date of the procurement process? When do you need the item to be delivered to the project site? Or can I delay? Can we have some they call it float, yeah, float or slack, yeah, time flexibility. Do this item have, or do this particular work package have schedule flexibility? Because maybe, for example, my contractor or my supplier inform me that there will be delay. So be careful, yeah, in the project schedule. You have to understand, you have to discuss with your PM, with your project manager, and also with your contractor. Uh, uh, what is which part of the project is critical in terms of schedule? Yeah? Which part of the project is not critical? Yeah. Yeah. So we have to remember that not all schedules, or not all of the schedules are critical. Yeah, there are some that have flexibility. Yeah, so you have to understand that also. Including schedule, you also have to understand the lead time. Yeah, of course, in supply chain, there are so many lead time, right? Lead time. Maybe PM doesn't understand your lead time, doesn't understand your supplier's lead time. Maybe the PM assume that you have already the items in your warehouse, or they assume the vendors already have the items in their warehouse. Yeah. So it's a matter of delivery. Yeah, but some part actually needs to be manufactured, needs to be designed, needs to be maybe imported from other countries. And of course, the schedule created by the project team, by the project manager, maybe does not reflect. Maybe they miss the lead time information, yeah, because they forget to consult with supply chain, and also they forget to consult with the potential contractor. Yeah. Yeah. So this is needed in order for you to work smoothly, yeah, with the project team. So and efficiently later. Of course, project cost is also important. Yeah, project cost, project budget. The PM, the engineers, the analysts, yeah, the team leader of a particular work package. For example, the civil work, the mechanical, the land clearance, maybe some heavy equipment, maybe, or other thing. They already prepare their own budget, actually. Yeah, they call it owner estimate. Yeah, they call it engineering estimate, or owner estimate, or independent estimate. Yeah, so this is not a vendor or third party estimate, but it's internal estimate. Then you have to review and study whether the price is already still applicable, whether the design is, or the material involved are still available in the market. Yeah. Also, the price is still within the rational budget, yeah, within the rational figures. Yeah. Otherwise, you have to discuss yeah, with your PM and with the higher level management, something like that. Because later on you will invite subcontractors or contractors to uh, prepare their own proposal, and then we will match whether the proposal and including the price baseline, including the price estimate is actually in line with our budget. Yeah. Yeah. So this is quite a lengthy process. Requires a lot of communication between procurement and project team. Yeah, but most of the planning part should be actually led by project manager. Yeah, and the procurement should support and should remind, because maybe the team is also busy and maybe they don't understand the process in the supply chain. Yeah. Quality expectation, of course, should be mentioned clearly, should be written clearly, should be identified, and this doesn't mean the quality should be the highest quality, or maybe the grade. We need some special grade in the materials to be procured, but of course the quality should be optimal. Yeah, so grade and quality is different, and you have to discuss also with the PM and with the, you have to research, do some research outside your company, whether the standard can be delivered by existing suppliers or existing contractors. Maybe if you design your factory using third party, then the designer or the engineers, the architect, for example, should be also consulted, yeah, regarding maybe alternative materials. For example, you need normal cement, right? But nowadays there is instant cement, yeah. So or maybe some particular steel or columns available in the market. There are so many alternatives nowadays. And manage quality, control quality, project resource communication is actually the activity of the project manager. Yeah. And risk management, to some extent, procurement team should also participate in the risk identification, especially those related to supply chain, those related in the supply chain activities, yeah, including lead time, including maybe price fluctuations, maybe delivery time, maybe in terms of quantity is not enough, or maybe some other thing, yeah, in the construction project. Yeah. So risk management, of course, the PM is also assumed to be familiar with the project, but maybe procurement also have their own risk uh, risk perception, yeah, risk tolerance or risk attitude regarding particular activities in the supply chain area. So you have to prepare risk register, yeah, risk register, and submit this to the PM also, yeah, to the PM. After you review the schedule, the cost, and the scope, quality standard, and we also already do some research in the market, then we can submit, yeah, our risk analysis regarding project. And then procurement of course, after you review everything, you start planning. Yeah, you start planning, matching with the schedule, cross-checking. Who will be your contracting officer focusing on this project? What is the procedures? You have to explain also in this time. This time is the other way around. Yeah. Previously, everything should be explained by project manager and team, but now procurement maybe should explain that there are also procedures, there are also constraints in the procurement part, in the supply chain part. So you have to educate your project team, and they will adjust their own schedule and their own cost, their own maybe risk also. Yeah, after you explain your own procedures. Then after everything is settled, of course, we will explain this in more details later. And after everything is settled, then you have to start conducting the procurement, yeah, as planned. And this may involve users, may involve project manager. So you cannot work separately with them. Vendors, contractors should meet them, should meet the project team, and maybe procurement team is just facilitating, yeah, bridging the communication, yeah, something like that. And then, of course, you control the procurement. This is also in coordinating with the project manager. CIPS, yes, Chartered Institute of Purchasing and Supply. Another this is another reference, a generic reference regarding procurement cycle. And our job is to relate this to the project requirement, to the project activity. Yeah, you may review this later, and I think you are already familiar with some of this. And maybe you also have some of your own process, but this is just for our discussion. So the CIPS states that we have to understand the need, the project needs, the users needs, and we develop specification, yeah, work package specification or a high level specification. And then we have to discuss this with the project manager, especially with the engineers, the users. And then also we may have to participate in the make or buy analysis. Yeah, make or buy analysis. If we already have some workshop, some machines inside the company, maybe welding machine or some drilling machine. Even we also have some workers who can do basic civil work and painting of interior, maybe the final part of the construction, like mechanical, electrical. Then maybe we can propose the project team to prepare a make or buy assessment, whether it is more efficient to outsource, to procure from outside, or maybe we can just do it internally. And the other one is procurement should develop a strategy, yeah, especially if the procurement activities related to the project are quite complex, are quite complicated. We have to help them in the procurement strategy. Yeah, maybe this is the main difference between purchasing and procurement, right? So procurement involves some kind of project strategy in order to fulfill the schedule and the project schedule and to fulfill the right quality. And then sometimes we have to pre-engage maybe, yeah, if we already know there will be a project in the coming months or in the coming weeks, maybe we have to start to find potential vendors, yeah, for the potential contractors without having to wait for the project manager to invite us. Yeah. So this is called engagement, yeah, pre-engagement. And then if the project is really to be executed, proven by the existing of project charter, yeah, by the existence of project charter, by the creation of project charter, that means the project will be formally implemented or constructed. Then we have to start preparing some kind of pre-purchase questionnaire regarding administrative matters, regarding maybe experience of the potential vendors, regarding the maybe some other testimony, yeah, from other customers, yeah, you name it. So pre-purchase questionnaires is quite interesting. Yeah, you can prepare yourself. I'm sure project manager doesn't have enough exposure to this, and they're not aware that we have to select the best partners. Yeah, we have to select the best partners. Sometimes you have to prepare for your detailed specification. Yeah, you can assess whether the project manager and the engineers whether they are quite ready to prepare a detailed specification, or they still need some help from third parties. Yeah, of course, we can also take advantage of the third parties' experience. Maybe they don't mind to supply their own data, yeah. Although we haven't selected them. Yeah, so of course this number 5 should be combined with number 1, yeah, understanding the need. Yeah, maybe the needs is to construct as soon as possible the new factory extension, because we will install the new machine and we will start production in end of year. Yeah, so that means the materials and the strategy to construct maybe should be in line with the business objective, yeah, with the needs of the company, something like that. Then after you finalizing the needs requirement, the detailed specification, yeah, you have the same perception with the project manager, with the user regarding the project requirements and project strategy. You have to start identifying and selecting potential suppliers, potential contractors. Maybe you already have some shortlisted data, or you will have to find new partners. Yeah? And you can issue later on after the project manager finalize their scope of work or statement of work or requirement, yeah, maybe in the form of DED, detail engineering design, for example, or maybe as built drawing or as plan drawing. Maybe you are more familiar with construction terminologies. Yeah. Then if you are sure about all the requirements from the internal team, then you may proceed to inviting the potential contractors. Yeah. If you are not sure, then you should not start this process. That's in my opinion will create many problems. Yeah. Internally and also with the vendors, also with the contractors. Yeah. So you have to make sure before you create the invitation to tender or invitation for bidding, or you issue a term of reference. Yeah, they call it sometimes in Indonesia we use the term TOR, yeah, term of reference, as a document that shows our needs, and that reflects that internally we have agreed on the needs, requirements, and specification of the new construction. Yeah, after then we can issue the TOR, yeah, maybe signed by PM, signed by business manager. Supplier, supply chain will facilitate the meeting, yeah, and monitor the meeting, and also participate actively in the meeting. Yeah, otherwise there may be some missing parts. Yeah, because we understand we in the project we have to work together, basically something like that. And also later on, maybe you can issue a RFI for particular item, particular solution, maybe. So we don't need a proposal yet. Yeah, maybe you need a new generator, new boiler, new whatever, new machine, yeah, new server. Then you issue a letter, right? Like a request for information, or can be also in the form of RFQ, yeah, request for quotation. They will send you the price. Yeah, but some company immediately they send a request for proposal. Maybe it's not quite recommended in the early stage. Yeah, and then after you conduct bidding process, yeah, by inviting, by explanation, and by clarifying your needs, they will prepare their own proposal in the form of technical proposal, price proposal, and company profile, something like that. Then you will evaluate the incoming document along with the team. And of course, in the project management, you have to prepare criteria, yeah, clear criteria regarding which the importance of each element of the proposal. For example, you put more emphasize on the pricing, so the cheaper the better, or you put more emphasis on the maybe experience, or some other criteria. Yeah. In this diagram, we don't see criteria, yeah, vendor criteria or selection criteria is written here. There is no criteria, but in the project management or PMBOK, you have to select. Yeah, otherwise, in order to avoid a sense of maybe you will be considered as biased to some only to particular vendors. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, and also I will finish this and we will have a short break, yeah. And then after that, of course, you will have the ranking of the evaluation, yeah, the rank of vendors after you evaluate. And then the winner will be awarded a contract, and then you will start working together. Yeah, then this process will be, I think, carry over to project team again. Yeah, will be carry over to project team again, and the items start coming. Then the receipts, the everything will be informed to you also, maybe from warehouse, from project team. And then we will evaluate on regular basis the performance of each contractor or each suppliers, and we will prepare a continuous improvement plan with the partners, because they will also be the one who will determine, who will have impact on our success, right? So this is a kind of long-term partnership. So you maintain a supplier relationship management and the supply chain management. I think you are already familiar with this. And also asset management team will do the maintenance, will keep track of the performance of the machines. Yeah. Yeah. I think we can have a break for now. Do you agree? If we have a break for the time being.